This is Unit 4, Lesson D, the homework help video. You should only be accessing this homework help video after 20 minutes of solid individual effort. Work through this list of what you can do when you don't know what to do. If you are stuck, only after 20 minutes should you be accessing this video. We're on Unit 4, Lesson D, Pythagorean Theorem, Problem 7. You are in a roofing business. You are creating an isosceles-shaped, that's an important part, roof, where the lengths of AB equals AC. So if you haven't done so already, you should be marking these lengths congruent. The roof is supported by a perpendicular beam AD. So that creates your right angle. The height of AD is 7. And the length of the room, AB, the length of the roof, excuse me, A to B is 25 feet. So from here to here, it's 25 feet. You're going to calculate this, the cross beam, BC. B all the way to C. That is your goal. Now, if you try to do it that way, you can't really solve it because it's an isosceles triangle. But you were told that D is an exact middle there. So you can do this right triangle. Here you have 7. Here you have 25. You can use the Pythagorean theorem to solve for x. Once you have that side, you can come over here and solve for that, and that will give you the length of B to C. It says, if the sides of a rectangle are 9 and 12, then the diagonal is. Easiest way to do this is to actually draw a diagram. We are told that we have a rectangle, so let's draw a rectangle. And the sides are 9 and 12. And we're being asked to find the length of the diagonal. Since it's a rectangle, you have a right angle, so the diagonal is simply the hypotenuse of a right triangle. So you use your right triangle Pythagorean theorem equation, which is leg squared plus leg squared equals the hypo squared. And then you circle, plug, chug. Number 9, we're given point G is at 2, 4. So let's plot these points. G is at 2, 4. Here's G. When you plot points, always put your coordinates down, 2 and 4. H is at 0, 2. And I is at 3, negative 1. I'm going to close this up. We want to use the distance equation to find each length. Use the template and then circle, plug, chug. So we're going to use the distance equation. Then you're going to be plugging in your answers to see if it works to determine if this is a right triangle. So I will show you how to do the distance equation. Keep your answers for just G to H. So for G to H, the distance equals, we do x minus x. I'm going to go left to right. So from left to right, I'm going to go 0 minus the other 2. Then I go left to right again. Now I do my y coordinates, which is 2 minus 4. Let's work this out. 0 minus 2 squared, that's going to be negative 2 squared plus 2 minus 4 gives us negative 2 again squared. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. This is still 4. We have the square root of 8. So the distance of G to H is going to be the square root of 8. Leave that in radical form. Use the same process to find the length of HI and GI. Then read this question carefully and show your work. Number 10, it says the figure below is a right triangle inside a rectangular prism. Rectangular means all these corners are right angles. That's important you understand that. All the prisms, all the sides of the prisms are either squares, the front and back, or they're rectangles. All the edges are either parallel or perpendicular. What that means is these edges here, of course, are parallel to each other, and these edges here are, of course, perpendicular. The first thing I'd like you to do is physically trace the 5 and the 12. This is a rectangle. Physically trace the 5 and the 12. I want you to find the length of C. That's your first goal. Ask yourself what kind of triangle that is. Think about what you've learned today. Once you find the length of C, then it says here, physically trace C and D and connect to make a right triangle. And I want you to find the length of D. The trick to this problem, I'm only going to say it once, is the fact that this is a square. Keep in mind that that right there is a square.